What's the dumbest reason someone broke up with you? Story 1. Because her friends broke up with their boyfriends. I had a good friend, at least I thought so at the time, break up with her boyfriend, and wanted me to break up with my new boyfriend at the time. I said no. She never spoke to me again. Her reasoning: loyalty means everything. By the way, my boyfriend of the time, he's my husband. We've been together 9 years and 2 kids. Story 2. 2 months into dating a girl, I accidentally spilled some melatonin out of my backpack on her bedroom floor. She was like, "What are those pills?" Accusations of me being a drug addict I wasn't, and then blocked me on everything. Story 3. Dated a woman for about a year and helped her finish her PhD. I proofread and wrote some of her thesis. After she received the degree, she broke up with me. She said she didn't feel comfortable, that she was better educated than I was. Story 4. Dated a girl for a very short time. One night she came over and started going on and on about her ex. How he was so controlling, manipulative, and that she felt like I was going to be just like him because both he and I grew up on a farm. And we both liked cars. So yeah, I guess I dodged a bullet there. Story 5. I wasn't jealous enough. She was meeting with one friend a lot. Told her it made me uncomfortable, but I trusted her, apparently. If I had been more jealous, aka controlling, she would not have broken up. F me for being a trusting person, dodged a cannonball there. Story 6. She broke it off to try and be with a guy at her job. He told her he wouldn't go out with someone already in a relationship. He was trying to be nice and not cause trouble. She didn't get the guy and she lost her job because she made a big scene about not getting what she wanted. I'd say I was the lucky one in that situation, even if it didn't feel like it at the time. Story 7. Teen me broke up with someone that I just started dating on the second day because I told them I needed a nap, and they kept trying to keep me awake to give them attention. I felt really bad about it until a couple of years ago, when I ran into them again, and he said even though it was ages ago that we were together, I still have so much love for you. About 10 years had passed since then, and I realized I had made the right decision being petty that day. Sleep is sacred. Story 8. Third or fourth date. Till then, everything had actually seemed pretty great. I took her to the movies, asked if she wanted butter on her popcorn, get back to the seat, hand it to her. She takes a bite and spits it out comically like into the row of seats in front of us, then yells at me loud. So the people she just spit on already get even more of the experience ruined along with whoever they are sitting with. Is there butter on this? I said. Yeah, like you said. Like I said. I distinctively said, nah, not yeah, how could you? Then she walked out of the date and our relationship with the popcorn. Story 9. Met a gal online, had a great first date. Spent the night, then the next couple of days with her. Then spent a weekend with her and some extended family. And later went to her friend's cookout. Her all is going swimmingly. Then a few days after a dinner together, she says she needs to listen to what the universe is telling her. She had gotten a flat tire. Then had some other car trouble. Lost a bracelet, and I had accidentally broke a pull chain on her ceiling fan. These happened within a few weeks of each other. I guess it was more than she could handle, because she flat out said it all happened because she met and was hanging around me. Well, none of this was happening before I met you. Say what? I really liked her. Story 9. I kissed him first. We had been on 3 dates and I thought it was time. The third date was at my house. He kept tickling me, looking at my lips, leaning in close. I kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and he never crossed the distance. I figured he must have been nervous or shy, so I made the move. He immediately came up with a reason to leave, and then ghosted me, saying he was sick, then in the hospital. We went from talking every day to days of silence, so I basically beat his door down just to know he was okay. And that's when he told me the girl should never kiss the guy first, and he was just super weirded out that I would take that from him. Story 10. Because he dad found out I listened to metal and have tattoos. That's not wholesome enough for his daughter. So she dumped me and found a good Christian boy that likes country music. Incidentally, he also ended up going to prison for meth trafficking. and got the ex-girlfriend thrown in prison with him as she was driving her car. With the 38 pounds of methamphetamine in the trunk lol. Story 11. I was with this girl for like 3 years at the time and she hated when I'd spend time with my friends or if I did anything without her. I didn't even see my friends that often. And I encouraged her to go see her friends and find things to do. Because it's not healthy to do literally everything together. One day she calls me and is like, "That's it, I've had it. You need to pick. It's either me or your friends." I'm like, "Are you seriously gonna make me pick between my friends? I've known for years before I even met you or spend all my time with you." She says yes and I paused for about 10 seconds and said them. And hung up. For the record, I wouldn't have picked my friends over her, but that fact she made me choose is what made me pick them. Story 12. We were dating for around a month. She was very acrobatic and I was having a hard time keeping up. Not like popping my load early. Like by the end I was gasping for air and feeling like I ran a marathon. I started working out because I was pretty porky at that time. Another month goes by and I'm down like 12 pounds and feeling better. Not sucking wind as much. She breaks up with me because I only like fat guys first. Until she said that I didn't really think that I had been fat, just a little thick. Second, damn, decided to really focus on fitness. Did it totally the wrong way. I had been bulimic in high school and I figured, let's start puking again, lost the weight. Gained the weight. Yo-yoed for years and just blamed the broken capillaries in my face on hangover puke. Finally started doing it the healthy way many years later. Haven't done the bulimia thing in like 5 years. Story 13. Because he got a new job that had him traveling a lot for work, and felt I was holding him back being at our apartment back home. That breakup blew my whole life up cause we were an international couple and I had moved to HIS country to be with him. So I had to move all the way back to my own country to start over after 6 years abroad. Story 14. Not a breakup exactly, but in my mid-20s during university. I met this guy at music festival, and it was so much fun. We spent the whole time together during the festival. After that I invited him over to my house. My parents were anyway on holidays, so I thought score. We get to my house and this guy flips out. Because we own a big house in a posh residential area in London, I am African British. Then we speak a bit about it. He realizes that I am a law student, and both my parents are barristers, and then he said that middle-class black people are taking chances from white people. He is white, and that it was okay when he thought I'm poor and not at uni, because he never got a chance to go to uni because of all the immigrants, and he could never betray his class and left. Story 15. I've had 2 girlfriends who broke up with me for stupid reasons. But in both cases they actually had perfectly good reasons, and it was never gonna work out in the long run. One broke up with me to date a guy who ate a wider range of adventurous foods, and one broke up with me because she was supposedly shocked that I took our relationship more seriously than she supposedly had. Even they both told me, in later years, that those were really dumb reasons. Really, these were sort of excuses. You see this constantly if you look for it. People often can feel the relationship isn't working, or that it's too intrusive or too intimate or otherwise alarming for them, and they can't figure out the problem or can't face it. So they come up with some other reason to break up, or they do something to trigger a breakup. This often leads to more regrets, but people are people. Anyway, both of those exes floated the question of getting back together years later, but not at the exact same time. And fortunately, I was in another relationship and thus somewhat protected from doing something dumb. Story 16. Met a girl a few years ago, was immediately smitten. Became very close friends. But I didn't think she was into me like that. So I never pursued it despite being absolutely head over heels for her. One day during dinner, she asked me out. Told me she really liked me and couldn't keep it to herself anymore. Hooray! We started dating. She then proceeded to almost immediately get more and more distant, never texting back, being guarded while in person, etc. It was very one-sided. After like a month I tried to ask her if something was wrong. And her response was that she didn't have feelings for me, she never did. But she enjoyed my company and told herself that if she dated me that surely she would come around to thinking of me romantically. Story 17. Technically this was a mutual breakup, but her list of grievances were that I was controlling, because I called her out on trying to cheat on me, and most importantly I violated her privacy, because I read a Tumblr post she made public, where she was shit-talking me for being a misogynist, because I was controlling, because I didn't want her cheating on me. Another one broke up with me because I considered Metallica to be metal music. 80s metal to be sure, but metal all the same. I'll leave it to y'all to determine which one of those is dumber. Story 18. Because I made them breakfast. Yep, you read that right. I made them breakfast and assumed they were adult enough not to sleep through their alarm. They slept through the breakfast at me and blamed me for not waking them up. Because if they'd just spent the night at their own house, their mom would have woken them up. They later tried to backtrack the breakup, but I wasn't having it. Story 19. Had been dating a guy for 6 months. Thought he was the one. He told me constantly he wanted to spend his life with me, get married, that he loved me deeply. I trusted him. We never fought. One day he abruptly informed me he wanted to break up. I asked why and he swore up and down that he didn't know. That he had just woken up that morning and no longer felt the same about me, and he had no idea why. He said that he knew himself, and once his feelings had changed, they would never go back, so it was final. I was so perplexed that it came out of nowhere and he couldn't give me a reason, that I hung around an AFWB situation for weeks trying to figure out why. But no matter how many times I asked him, he swore that he didn't know. He said it had nothing to do with me and I was awesome, yada yada. But he was just overcome with this sudden change of heart. He also claimed he wanted to be single.